Welcome back to Best of the West, presented by the Gundam Evolution New Type League. Jamerson here, joined once again by Wonder Chef, and now we are going back.
Be just an unbelievable match of literally the best players that we have.
Yeah, we had a lot of games yesterday in particular where we thought high potential, map number 3. We only got one at map number 3, but this is definitely one of those where we are expecting it to go the distance. So let's go ahead and get into the map picks and bans for our upper bracket finals here. Remember, the loser will just be knocked down into the lower bracket. It is not the end for their run, but that does mean they do have to fight it out in that lower bracket. But here we go. Our first bans coming in, and I mean, why? It's Black Fort for our first ban.
We're never going to be able to see it. Actually, I feel like Thermal Plant has been within the first two bans almost every single broadcast match so far, but Colony Trading Post is our first map of the set. I'm actually really excited to see that. We don't get to see a whole ton of it. It was apparently picked a lot, but Harbor City as our second, so we're going to see some pretty long-range fights overall.
Yeah, Domination coming in, and then of course Harbor City, Underground Command Center, banned out by Mafty. Char gonna ban out Mountain R&D. That was so unfortunate. That would have been a great decider. Guys, you guys were so close, right there at the finish line. Mountain R&D for the decider map, but no, instead it is going to be Quarry.
All right, so no domination at all. We're going to be going destruction into point capture, into destruction again if we do get to that third match. And I honestly have just zero idea how this set is going to go, right? I mean, the fact that it is teammates basically playing against each other, the fact that it's some players that are from regions that normally don't get to enter and have been able to. It's great to see all of them, by the way. That is, of course, the point of this tournament. And in case anybody is not familiar, this is just open to a lot of different regions, and these players have really been showing off, especially a lot of the players that have been able to be on Team Char. So this is just going to be a big question mark to me. I know the gameplay is going to be amazing. I expect that it's going to be at least relatively close, but I would just have zero idea which direction this will go. I'm excited to see these first maps, though.
Yeah, while I wish we could see, of course, the kind of absolute brawls where it comes to clean 6v6s on the domination maps. I'm glad that we do actually have two of our destruction maps in play here, because we already know that both of these squads, when they go toe-to-toe, when they go 6v6, it's going to be an amazing sight regardless. But now when you throw in the extra factor of an objective of having to get plants down, that is a completely another level that you have to play upon. And so now we're going to go ahead and take a short break while we get our first map set up here in the upper bracket. Mafty versus Char right after the break. All right, welcome back, everybody, for our next matchup. We'll get that fixed in just a second. It's going to be Mafty versus Char here in our upper bracket final. We're starting it off on Colony Trading Post, and take a look at the composition already getting hovered. This has me so excited. James versus Arrow in the Zaku 2 ranged battle. This is going to be amazing.
I'm really excited for that. Okay, there's so many things. I got to go through this quickly. We've got Carl Sagan, who actually I think wasn't on broadcast yesterday. They do have, of course, a pretty wide roster of players, not just suits. So Carl Sagan, a very popular player, of course, did not get a chance to see them. They're actually currently not on one of the suits that we're used to them seeing. It's just seeing them on. So I'm very excited for that one. We've got the, like you mentioned, the double Zaku 2 range. We've got David, who's been just absolutely destroying it on the new Gundam. Some of the, maybe the best new Gundam play that we've ever seen on these broadcasts. There's honestly just so much to go over here. But once again, this is the newest map in the game. It's not new right now, but the strategies I think are still kind of unfolding. I'm excited to see how these teams do.
Yeah, the main difference so far looks like in terms of compositions, never mind. We do have Listic swapping on over. He will be picking up that Dom Trooper. So largely mirrored composition on either side, except for the Hyperion versus new Gundam difference. Listic, as he tries to roll out, takes so much damage from the buff there. David instantly melting him, and that's a tall task. 1100 HP just gone.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that I mean, new Gundam already did a lot of damage, but when you put it in the you know, you give it the buff and then put it in the hands of David is just ridiculous. That's one of my favorite switches that I've seen. Of course, David before this tournament playing so much Sazabi, but we've got Sazabis as well on the side of Kaiser, so you love to see it, but this push is already happening. Of course, the waypoint taken pretty quickly. This tends to happen on this first point.
The first pick going down after the Enders falling. Kaiser has to be careful. He was stunned up, but they were not able to follow up. Well, ultimately, do end up taking him down. Now, Mafty pushing up. They do have the presence on the A side. Zyros is up top by himself. Profi will be able to focus him down. Throughout all that, though, Carl Sagan has gone down, and that's the mega charge now. Being planted on that A site. James has been trying to play interruption up against Arrow, and he has done a good job, but they have been going toe-to-toe. They are matching, basically, in terms of G maneuver charge, 43 to the 43. David, once again, able to focus down one more. That's Poppy falling, and that is a huge body going down early on. Mega charge defuse going down, and there is no one here on the Mafty side to try and stop that one. So it's back now down to square one for Mafty to try and get that plant. They do end up getting that pick onto David, actually, so there might be an opportunity for them to get that plant down. It's going to be focused, trying to get it down, and he tries to commit as well. Both Ashimars will fall here. He will continue to go for that plant on the A site.
All right, yeah, that was a huge committal right there. Arrow, though, has the Heat Hawk slash, but oh my gosh, falling down just instantly. Gonna be able to scoot around, probably try to find a health pack, but they've gotten about 60% so far. They need to re-get at least that much to make any progress here. David will be popping that G maneuver on the new Gundam just to get that extra shield, a little bit of extra damage, actually throws out a few more funnels, but that means that there is going to be a pretty strong hold here because that wasn't getting quite enough.
Yeah, they're even charging forward off the point to try and get these staggered kills. I love this aggression coming out from Mafty. We were talking about it yesterday, that there was a lot more aggression coming out for them. This time around, we're seeing it up against basically their sister team, forcing Char all the way back now, even towards the spawn. This is actually massive. This is the forward spawn. So if they can keep them contained here, they're going to be able to stagger them even more. This is absolutely oppressive. They do end up losing out on Carl Sagan, but again, they still have the numbers advantage. And now you can see, fair enough, he's still stuck up here. Subject has to be careful as he tries to drop down below as the full regroup comes out from Char.
All right, now this is a sight that we almost never get to see on broadcast, but this is such a difficult spot for the offensive team here. Any team that's trying to push through, this is a really tough choke point. There's not a lot of sneakaways to get around. There's no verticality options, and oh, it's something huge like a big screaming Nimbus can mean so much. That is going to be a full, almost team wipe on Team Mafty. Yeah, that is going to, in the end, be every single one, but it's so hard to avoid AoE in in this little spot, and you're fighting not only to, I mean, not to get the plant, you're fighting just to get the waypoint here, which can very easily be retaken if you get team wiped. So this point arguably could be as difficult as the second point on Harbor City. I find that it takes some really tough strategy to be able to make this through.
Yeah, the difference there, though, was that the G maneuver usage was definitely in the favor of Mafty, despite taking that loss in the fights. I believe 4, maybe 5 was popped by Char to try and go for that defensive pull. On the other side, it was just the Screaming Nimbus. Throughout all of this, though, a lot of G maneuvers have been utilized from the Mafty side. I believe they try to go for the funnels and that punch. Did not nip them that much, but they do at least push back and a little bit further in. Arrow winning out on that duel up against James in that Zaku 2 range matchup. Allows them a lot more presence, and it looks like they will be able to push forward and try and get this punt down. Zyros tries to escape, has to be careful, 108 HP. He does find himself a pack at the very least. That does mean the rest of this squad, though, onto the wayside here as Arrow goes for that Heat Hawk slash. Focus ends up going down to James, but that's only the one pickup for Char at this point. Make a charge down, now down on that B site.
B can be so difficult actually to get a defuse on. That gives this high ground kind of defensive position to the offensive team. It can be really difficult, especially if they have any sort of AoE damage. They have, of course, Listic as kind of their only big AoE damage option right there. Focus can throw down some flame grenades if necessary, but right now we're going to see the Lancer coming out, but I don't even know what it's hitting. It's honestly, I just see it next to a wall. Arrow getting 2 picks at the same time, though.
Yeah, 25 seconds remaining. Make charge still ticking down. Carl Sagan tries to charge forward, and Baronox will ultimately fall. David trades for it, but they still need more presence here. Only 4 members up right now. Baronox will be coming back here. Make charge ticking down. 10 seconds remaining. Somebody needs to get onto the point. Enders will try and stick it as Listic goes on in, and he will be able to stop the defuse. Finishes it off with the Screaming Nimbus. They're still actually able to get the make charge disc.
What? What? How is that even possible? How honestly did that happen? I genuinely don't even know. I didn't see who got that disarm. It looked like it was over. I was 100% sure it was over, but I guess not. They're going for round number 2.
Oh boy, all right, here we go. Another opportunity here on the B site, but they committed so much into that last one. That was the Hades and the Screaming Nimbus. They needed to finish it there. Zyros is gonna come back with that punch. Again, Mafty, can they do enough to at least just try and stall out, make sure no one is able to touch that Mega Charge? Well, Arrow has something to say about it, taking out Kaiser now, forcing the regroup from Char. There's the punch along with the Hades being utilized. 2 pickups coming out from them, but Baronox will ultimately fall. Arrow in his face. Now they play without their Pale Rider. Arrow fighting a little bit more, but as the regroup comes out from Char, they're starting to have more and more presence. Only 3 members still alive for Mafty here as Arrow has to back away. They still need to get the disarm down, and they will be able to stop it once again.
Oh my gosh, is Team Char actually Team Last Second? They have Last Second disarmed twice now. This is so close. This is unbelievably close for honestly, a bomb site that usually is not that close. Usually it's just like, okay, somebody plants it and it's a great hold, or somebody holds it and then they just never get a chance to plant. But this is another opportunity to get the plant. Will it go off? Not quite this time.
David will go ahead and pop the last defensive G maneuver here and finish things off. 99.9%. So basically a finish. Basically a finish. But oh my goodness, they were so close.
Oh, wow. That is, I don't know if I've ever seen on this particular map an actual full hold while getting to 99.9% on the Mega Charge. That is, I literally think the first time that I've ever seen it. So really great hold overall from Team Char. I really think this is going to be a close set.
Yeah, I'm actually looking back at the stream to see exactly what happened there on the Mega Charge. I still don't even know. With a second look at it, they were so close. It looked like it was a repair into, I don't even know. Hopefully we get that in the highlights, because I need to look back at that defuse. That was just absolutely insane. Now we're swapping sides, though. Mafty are going to be on the defense here. Again, it was great trying to keep tabs of that James versus Arrow Zaku 2 ranged matchup. It looked like, honestly, it kind of went even between the two. We'll see if someone is able to break that stalemate between the two units.
It's so weird just seeing the 99.9% up on the HUD up there, but oh, this is going to be. I expect this to be very close, right? I mean, if they get the full plant, then they make it. If they don't get the full plant, there's a good chance that I think Char ends up winning this one. I'm curious if we're going to see any sort of switches overall. It looks like mostly it's the same. Actually, it looks like it's exactly the same, if I remember correctly, from the first round. So they're committing to what they've got, and of course, both these teams are very flexible. I'm still excited to see Carl Sagan on this Hyperion. Pretty interesting pick overall. Seems like it's working out.
Yeah, basically mirrored compositions except for that Hyperion versus New here. Kaiser getting a cheeky little scan there from up top. Only spots out a few members there, as Zyros will actually swap on out to see what he can scout out. Arrow on the low ground will try and face off against Kaiser. Has to be careful at that range up against Sazabi, so he backs away. Waypoint, of course, easily going the way of Char, as now they are fighting over that high ground. 8 points. Ballistic able to get a little bit of spam out across the ways. Zyros, though, still playing off the side as the attention is pulled over towards that other angle. He's looking for something, but it's going to be James actually winning out on that duel with the help of his Sazabi to take out Arrow. And now we'll have Mafty actually losing out on a few members here. So this is the opportunity for Char, but they still need to try and reestablish themselves, get some health. See Ender's low, and they are playing up that health pack coming out from their Pale Rider player.
And it does look like they're going to be committing to planting up top at A. Oh, the Ender's going down. Focus being very sneaky. It does look like in the end Enders will be picked back up, but Focus might as well. No, finally going down officially. And that Mega Charge will be planted for sure at A. Again, a very difficult spot to get the disarm at unless you actually take out the entire enemy team. There's so many lines of sight to it. It's very open, and even if you try to hide behind the pillar, people can rotate around. So we'll see if there's any great offensive pushes from the defensive side here.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising to see Char. They, know that there were like 3 units kind of isolated by themselves, and instead they allowed them to stay there. And so that gives Mafty the presence to be able to push up, and that could have been a mistake for them. Look at them. They are on top right now. No one there to really try and contest, and so that Mega Charge will get diffused. And so now Char, I'm gonna have to play from the back foot once again. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and they still need to get the plant down. James on the low ground will get taken out. Subject is there to back him up. Let's finish off that Zakutun range.
And another great move that happened kind of before that fight even started was the relay was retaken, right? The waypoint, it was retaken by Mafty before they actually decided to commit. So every single pick that they got within that fight meant that there was going to be a longer run back. It was just a great, I guess, recognition that everybody was going to be on point. Nobody was going to be back there defending that.
Now Arrow is playing with his squad this time around. David to get that first pick. Focus going down, and he was the one that had the punch. Arrow, though, does have that Heat Hawk slash, but they're not creeping up enough for him to really get big value off of it. There we go. He takes out Zyros, and now it looks like Char coming out with a clear advantage in this fight. 2 members up on the defenders here. Arrow getting chased down now. The Mega Charge going down once again on the ace sites.
Ooh, this is such a back and forth. It's nobody getting walled out in any situation. It's just about who wins the fights after that, and that's going to be the Heat Hawk slash to take down Listic. That's going to give a little bit more leeway as far as time, and they're only going to be down to 5 people as they're trying to get this disarm. But you can see that they're not fully committing to it yet. We've got a lot of the members of Team Char just sitting defensively here. Omni James kind of trying to flank over in the sides. Omni Subject just barely staying up, barely managing to not get downs, but that's already 60%. There's only maybe one more defensive push here. I'm not even sure if Team Mafty's actually going to go for it. It looks like Focus at least is committing to a little bit of something, but this is an opportunity to get staggered.
Yeah, Hades and Screaming Nimbus are going to get popped in this one. Actually, Subject hasn't utilized it quite yet. They're relying upon Listic actually just to create chaos here, and they get the disarm down. Wow. Beautiful play coming out from Mafty, and that's what we were talking about. That's what I was talking about when it comes to this destruction map. We know the 6v6 is going to be amazing, but now you throw in that extra factor of the objectives, and they are able to play around it beautifully. 30 seconds remaining. The waypoint is neutralized as well. Char in a really bad spot here as Carl Sagan finds one more pick.
Oh yeah, going down to Carl Sagan, and that means that there's going to be basically an entire team on the point. 15 seconds left. There's not even going to be a full team on the side of Char able to make this final push. Ender's using the Screaming Nimbus to try to get something here, but can anybody even get there within 5 seconds? It doesn't look like anybody is close enough to even start the overtime. They try to get through, but not close enough, and game 1 going to Mafty.
And importantly there as well, Focus was just holding on to that punch, right? They just need to delay and deny the plants, and they take the win ultimately in the end. But man, that was a great battle between our two top teams right now, but Mafty able to get that first win, and it was really hard to really pick out who might come out on top. But at this point, I'm just so excited about this matchup. That first map definitely really showing why we were excited about this matchup.
Yeah, again, nobody was shut out at all. It just came down to little individual fights for each point, right? Like that was almost the full site gone. You know, the full mega charge exploded, detonated like several times, like 3 different times. It came down to those fights, and right near the end of each of those like detonation times, and they all went the way just barely of Mafty. It was great repushes. We do know that Mafty is extremely strong on playing from their back foot when they have to retake a lot of like objectives, whether it be waypoints or trying to get the mega charges. So it's just great to see them continue to do that, even when a few of their members are now on the opposing team. But I expect that this next map will go very close as well.
Yeah, and that's right. We're going to Harbor City for map number 2. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break while we get that set up. When we get back, we'll have map number 2 of Mafty versus Char right after this. Welcome back to Best of the West, presented by Gundam Evolution New Type League. Here are our stats from our first map between Mafty and Char in Colony Trading Post, and wow, the breakdown is incredible. Three members of Mafty above the 30k threshold, but on the other side, David, 41,000 damage for himself.
Oh my gosh, that is ridiculous. I'm so happy that David is playing New Gundam. I mean, that was just... if you're interested in playing New Gundam, just watching this set or any of the sets that David has been playing in is just an absolute masterclass in how you should play the suit and what it can actually do when played by a strong player. I mean, honestly, that's just a ridiculous amount of damage. And one of its biggest issues, of course, was getting taken down very quickly when it's being focused. But just the positioning of David is so good that you can even see it has relatively high KD ratio, which really, I mean, obviously doesn't mean that much, but you can just show that it didn't... David wasn't the one going down in a lot of these fights.
Yeah, and you know, when it comes down to just how scrappy this entire match was as well, it was just back and forth fighting, it felt like, especially when we got to the second half of Mafty's first attack. It is just... in that chaos, how do you stay alive? Well, he did, and so he was able to secure that at the very least. So excellent performance though all around. Everyone had some amazing moments. I mean, there were even points that miracle defuse as well. I still don't know what happened there. I'm gonna have to watch the VOD back like 3 or 4 times. But we are now getting set up for our second map. It is going to be Harbor City for our second map here in the upper brackets. And looking at the units that are currently getting hovered over, I'm not gonna get excited yet, Wonder. I'm gonna hold out hope. We'll see, and I won't even say a word. I'm not gonna say a thing.
Your goal is to
well,
capture both
we can wait a few
targets.
seconds and then maybe say something about the defensive side. Now, okay, they are going to be switching off the Mihiru. We are going to see the Gym Sniper. Almost undoubtedly, we are going to be seeing Carl Sagan on the Gym Sniper on the offense. I can just kind of guess that at this point. Amazing Gym Sniper player. We're going to see Offbeat Alligator. I know the chat's been having a lot of fun with Offbeat Alligator. Fun fact, did you know that less than 4% of alligators that are laid as eggs actually make it to adulthood? And did you know that Mafty is trying to make that percent 0 in this set?
We'll see though. He's quite slippery and might of course be to the aquatic nature there. But we do have a little bit of a change up when it comes to the compositions. We have Devotion now going on over to the Hyperion. So they'll have that double utility, the extra utility when it comes down to controlling that choke point. But Carl Sagan versus Offbeat Alligator there in the Gym Sniper battles. Subject is on the Pale Rider though, so they'll have a little bit more range, a little bit more pressure possibly onto the zombies. But here it is, the the Cyber Duels.
This actually, oh my gosh, all right, well, immediately out of the gate, Offbeat Alligator winning that sniper duel, literally the first thing that happens in the actual match. But I gotta point out, this is actually an exact mirror match as far as the suits picked, so it's gonna be just down to pure skill, and this is gonna be difficult, honestly, on both sides, but at least the first pick happened on the defensive side, so just a quick run back, and we get to see how this fight's gonna go.
Go, Carl Sagan. He's back with vengeance. Actually takes out Zeros this time, and now that's going to alleviate some of the pressure on to the Sazabi. Focus finds one more. Devotion going down, and now the dominoes are falling as they continue to charge forward. David on the retreat will be able to take out Focus, but the number advantage is still here for Mafty, as David will just go ahead and back away. They will give away this point. No need to throw good money after bad here, and so they back away, and it's going to be a fight over the bridge.
Wow, yeah, that was a really quick retreat. That's going to be a ton of time for Mafty to be able to kind of build their G maneuvers and see how they feel and when they can actually push. They're not in a rush. It's going to be over 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so they are going to see actually an immediate switch over here. Carl Sagan over to the Unicorn Gundam. I don't think that's actually a pick that I've seen Carl Sagan on before, but again, that Unicorn buff that we got in the last patch is huge, especially for pushing through points like this.
Yeah, both of our sniper players actually swapping off. The Alligator actually drops off the map to swap on over to the Pale Rider, and instantly it pays off for them. 3 kills coming in for him. I don't know if it was just last hit at that point. He's at 22% after making that quick swap on over. And that's pretty important for Char, who need to start building up some G maneuvers for this hole. They do have David. He's the only one with a G maneuver available. The rest of the squad a bit tailing behind as well. Zyros is getting closer, 60% on that punch, and he is just waiting, lurking over that fence line.
Oh, there's the new Gundam G maneuver, just defensively, just to try to push forward a little bit more. That is a very offensive option on the defense, but Focus will be taking down Devotion along with the assist from every single person on the team. And we're seeing that so often, but Focus just flying through, just saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to take your high ground, and that is going to be great. That's a second pick from Focus, and Listic gets one as well. Down to 3 members up as one is running back on the side of Team Char. This looks like this is at least going to be a single tick, if not 2. They're gonna have to fight back for this point now.
Oh, Focus was looking for the punch, but he ends up getting taken out by Zeros. Now they do end up getting that repair onto him, so it is back alive. Hades is here, screaming Nimbus, though, in the face of it all. Enders ultimately goes down. Mafty survive the storm, and they end up picking up more as the third tick is about to come in, and it looks like they'll be able to finish off this map. I don't know if anyone's gonna even be able to touch the points. And it looks like the 4th tick, Mafty ends up taking it here strong with plenty of time in the bank.
That was an intense side on the offensive for Mafty. That was just a rush through. Definitely a very different game than we saw in the first of this set. I mean, there's still going to be, of course, the chance for Team Char to take the offensive here, but they're going to have to move very quickly to be able to match that pace. I mean, at this point, I suppose their best option is not even to worry about that time. It's just to try and make sure that they actually get this capture, as this is a very scary spot for them. They are in the winners bracket. Their tournament life is not quite on the line yet, but they don't want to have to go up in that rematch against Last Second that's playing stronger, and I'm sure they don't want to have that new kind of map pick disadvantage that we're going to have in the grand finals. We'll talk about that later, but we're going to talk about now comps, which look to be mostly the same.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 44 seconds. That's the time bank that Mafty are playing off of at this point. Carl Sagan will be going back on over towards that gym sniper. So starting it off basically how we did on the other side when they were on the offense. On the other side, though, it does seem like they're hovering over basically the same composition for Char. It's going to be the Noob and the Hyperion coming out for them. So not the same kind of damage output, or at least the range there without the Pale Rider. That is possibly going to force out that swap on over to Pale Rider, of course, eventually later on for the gym sniper player.
And you'd love to see the mines on the door. I just want to point that out. I don't remember who did it, but the mines above the door here are just an unbelievably good strategy. That's not exactly what we saw, but we are still going to see undoubtedly a ton of... Look at the G maneuver meter here, right here, on the side of Listic. 10% just them walking out the door. That is so smart. That's why people place those mines there. They know the damage is going to get healed up, but that Screaming Nimbus is that much closer to completion.
Yeah, that means that difference when it comes to playing across that bridge. Hopefully they'll have it ready. A lot of damage going across the ways onto Mafty, and now you can see the charge forward coming out from Char, but it's Focus with that flame taking out Zyros and the help of the rest of the squad. Of course, the defense just need to regroup, but they're not even given that opportunity. The repair gun comes out along with a pick onto Profi. This is an opportunity now with the man advantage for Char to try and take advantage. Enders needs to heal up, though, and it looks like Subject was caught out by himself on that retreat. So only 4 members make that 3 as Arrow ends up falling here. Char pushes onto the point.
You know, I was saying that they're going to have to fight hard to be able to match that pace, but they're already on pace to match the pace. This is a great first push. Again, Offbeat Alligator, just absolute MVP. Of course, for anybody who's not familiar, that is the name of Baranox, a player that we saw very early on in these tournaments, a player from, I believe, EU. Definitely the EU region-ish. And this is great to see them playing here and just absolutely destroying. They are going to have a ton of time to be able to take this B region.
Yeah, he was only 30% towards that G maneuver as well, and so he instantly makes the swap on over towards that Pale Rider to match in kind. Carl Sagan, though, is stuck currently on that sniper right now. Devotion tries to charge forward. He's got 2 members on the side. He's got to be careful. There it is, the flame from Zeros to really focus him down. Now Char push up onto that bridge to try and take him, the rest of the squad out. Subject will go ahead and back away. They're not going to go overly aggressive on this push. Zyros, though, does go over the fence line, and he is a little bit isolated. He will get taken out by Listic.
Ooh, this is definitely going to have to be a backup here, I think. Devotion actually still pushing in. That's pretty aggressive here, trying to build up a little bit more meter, I suppose. But, oh, David going in with that new Gundam G maneuver as soon as everybody on the team comes back, just to maybe waste a little bit of the shots here. Going to just absorb a lot of this damage, and this is a first opportunity here as we're going to see the punch off the map. Ender's going down into the soup.
That is huge, but we'll see if they can continue to find a little bit more. There it is. Devotion ends up going down at the end. Nice little staggered picks coming out from Mafty to finish things off. Now, Char, they regroup. They don't have too many tools to really utilize here. We'll see if Zyros can possibly find an over-the-wall punch. But on the other side, the defense are doing a great job of just staying spread out. You can see no one's really clumping on the left, no one's really clumping on the right. Focus over the wall, getting a lot of damage off with that. You can see the instant aggression coming out from them to take advantage of that damage. But they do end up losing out on Arrow. All is not lost though. Zyros though still holding on to that punch. Trying to find his time, trying to find his moment. Subject in the back line for Mafty though. Does have that 80 ready. Coffee as well with the funnels.
Ooh, look at this little high ground position here Profi is taking. I really like this spot. That can be such a hard spot to actually shoot, especially if you're trying to get some headshots on some of the taller units. But on this subject, of course, with the Hades is going to melt down a lot of Team Char, and a lot of this lead is going to be just gone.
2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. This is absolutely astounding. Almost one-sided this matchup feels now at this point. The focus punch is ready, Arrow as well, and that screaming Nimbus on the other side. Zyros is still looking for his moment. Now Baranox does have that 80s ready, but they haven't quite pushed out yet. And it looks like we end up getting a dry kickoff, but it's going to be 2 members going down along with that repair gun for Carl Sagan. And so they're sent back once again, stalling out. 1 minute and 50 seconds now left on the clock.
Oh no, this has just been such a standstill here. I mean, that's a lot of great picks. We're not going to see a full push yet, though. It's just even the remaining members of Mafty are defending so well. Devotion does have this Lancer that can lead to so much on this map in particular. We've seen it before, but there's just so much damage now. Okay, on Team Mafty, this is going to be the opportunity, I think, for Team Char to actually make this push, and they have to really make it now. They're going to get maybe one more push after this, but they might not even get the chance, depending on how long this takes. They're at least going to get this first tick, but let's see what else they can make out of this.
They still have all the G maneuvers available to them. Hades is now popped. Zyros goes down midair. It's going to be focused, take him out. Kaiser, though, with the funnels will give them a lot more pressure. To Carl Sagan and find some huge picks. Taking out the Pale Rider now. Things are looking bad here as they continue to try and maintain presence on the point. Zyros does have that run back at the point. Now the Lancer comes out, but he is shut down by Subject and Carl Sagan. And things were looking good, but the regroup coming out from the defense, they're gonna push back towards that spawn side, and oh no! Hopefully that does not come back to bite them.
Oh no, oh that's painful. There were still 2 picks though on the side of Mafty, so this is looking really good. Only 30 seconds left. They're not gonna have the time to wait for somebody to fully respawn. There was a down on Focus, but Focus getting picked back up immediately, and this is gonna be the final push. The punch is coming out. It's not gonna catch as many people as maybe they wanted. Zyros is gonna be going down, but they just again don't have anybody close enough to challenge the point. They need to move forward now, but the choke point defense is so real from Mafty. Only 5 seconds left. I don't think they're gonna make it.
What a beautiful defensive hold coming out. And anytime we say, hey, map number 3, possibly, it is not going to happen. Mafty with a 2-0 here. They'll be moving on to the grand finals of the day, waiting out the rest of the matches there now in the lower bracket.
Oh man, that was, I'm still laughing at just the POV of falling into the pit. And you know what happens to literally the best of us? Now at least you can look back on that when that happens to you, you know, when you're playing quick play or ranked and you're like, you know what? Tournament players have done that as well in winners finals of gigantic tournament. So it literally happens to the best of us. But honestly, great stuff. Again, it comes down, I think, just barely to the defensive flexibility of Mafty. Every single time that it looks like they are down for the count, they always find a way to fight back, and that's exactly what happened here because the aggressive pushes from both sides were extremely strong. It just came down to a slight edge on the defensive situations, I think, for Mafty.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, we saw Carl Sagan sticking with the Gem Sniper the entire way through. Typically, we see the swap, right? You no longer have to play it. You typically on the defense, you're going to just stick with your Pale Rider as that initial or that only hit scan. But the two-man duo between Carl Sagan and Focus, being able to just even get body shots off onto player allows Focus to really just destroy people with the flame, if not just primary fire. And that came to fruition time and again. And they were just able to pick apart the offense there. Great win coming out from them. Now they are looking almost unstoppable. We said that as well during our last grand finals for the last event. So not going to put the cart before the horse here for that one. But yeah, what a fantastic finish. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats for the map there on Harbor City.
Oh, I'm excited to see this one for sure. We know that Carl Sagan always ends up really high on damage when he's on that Gem Sniper. And you mentioned this before, but I just want to point out again that the commitment to the Gem Sniper from Carl Sagan, that is one of his, I would say, signatures on a few different maps where people do tend to switch off on the second point, specifically being this one on Harbor and also on Underground Command Center, where we tend to see a lot of the Gem Snipers on the first points, and then later we see a switch as soon as we get to either the second bomb sites on Underground Command Center or the second point on here on Harbor. But the commitment from Carl Sagan has proven like effective like time and time again. So it's really cool to see that you can actually continue to use that suit if you want to on those points. Of course, you have to be ridiculous with aim like Carl Sagan and everything else. But if you can make that suit work, you can make it work in situations where I feel like a lot of other people could make it work too, but they're afraid to try it. And Carl Sagan has no fear on this earth, I think.
I mean, especially when you got a front line that are just, it looks like, they're working on all cylinders. I loved the way, of course, the defensive hold came out for them. You saw, I believe it was Focus along with their Sazabi playing on that right-hand side. And then you had the Hyperion and New Gundam. The Hyperion, the Hyperion? New? I forget. Exactly. On the left-hand side with the Dom. So they were splitting up the forces quite well. They weren't clumping for Zyros to be able to get these huge 4-man, 5-man flames off. It was just a great play overall, but here we go. The stats coming out for them, and I am not surprised whatsoever. 38,000 damage there for Focus on Harbor City.
And again, 10.3 KD ratio, just so difficult to lock down when these strong Ashmar players like Focus are playing in safe spots where even if they get picked out of the sky, they fall into a safe position where you can get picked back up. That leads to just being in the fight for so much longer. You can definitely tell that Focus has that level of experience with that. But again, high damage across the board from literally every single player on both sides. That's how you know that these teams are all extremely solid. It's just there's no weak link as far as somebody not doing damage or not being in the right spot or somebody dying a little bit too much and not being there for the fights when they need to be. It's just so solid, so strong. I would not be surprised if we saw these two teams back in the grand finals, but there will be a rematch in the losers finals that's going to be coming up next, where we're going to have the team that knocked Team Last Second into losers, Team Char, have to rematch them.
That's right. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have our next match. It's going to be the lower finals. in just a short moment. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back right after this.